क्या करें? ये आईडी वालों को लागू हो गया। वो मैं मारेगा। सेंसर कहीं। आगे उधर सबके नाम में करोगे आगे उधर आगे आप लोग के आगे आगे आओ ये इधर से बैठना शुरू कर जाओ
बैठ में चाहिए ना वैसे
चलिए क्या आगे हो गया देखिए रास्ते में जाओ चेयर खाली है कैसे बोल रहा हूं अभी आगे आए नहीं नहीं ऐसी बात है आनंद आगे कैप्चर में नहीं बैठो आज हम लोग very good I'm liking it अभी ना मैं बहुत ध्यान से समझा ठीक है ये इधर आओ आगे आओ आज तो मैं तुम्हें आगे बिठाऊं आ जाओ आओ आगे
आगे बढ़ो
नहीं सर पूछेंगे मैम आप क्वेश्चन करो तो अपने नोट्स बना दो
हो गया स्ट्रीमिंग
हाँ हाँ मैम
क्वेश्चन
प्लीज
फोन कैसे
अभी ठीक है
Hello, sir. A very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. We have with us Dr. Mala Mohan ma'am, founder, director at Threads Design. I will request our head of department, architect Madhuri Agarwal ma'am, to kindly welcome and felicitate Dr. Mala Mohan ma'am. Please give them a big round of applause.
बाहर लिए थे मैम, कहाँ चर्ची में बोल दिए थे।
A very awakening good afternoon to all the students and participants after lunch. So it should be awakening good afternoon. So we have with us architect Mala Mohan ma'am as an keynote speaker today for this session post lunch. Mala Mohan ma'am has a rich and varied experience of around 37 years as an architect of planning hospitals, auditoriums, gymnasiums, swimming pools, and developing cantonments for the defense personnel. She superannuated in December 2019 as Additional Director General Architecture, Military Engineering Service, Ministry of Defense. She was the head of architecture cadre in MES Pan India from 2016 to 2019 and was responsible for all the architectural work of the armed forces. She was also involved in the preparation of architect brief, that is the scales of accommodation of hospitals for the armed forces. She had prepared the dossier for global competition for the war memorial and was involved from scratch in the planning of war memorial at India Gate lawns. We all know that it's a very popular project. She has planned a number of hospitals varying from 30 bedded to 1200 bedded command hospitals. She has also adorned responsible positions in various professional bodies. She is also associated with Council of Architecture and has presented a number of papers in various defense and professional seminars, which include topics on acoustics, planning of hospitals, sustainable architecture, green buildings, cantonment planning. She has also been a panel speaker on many forums and jury member for many architectural competitions. She has also been an executive member in the Council of Architecture, as I've told you, and was the member of many committees of Council of Architecture, including the Amendment Act Committee. We welcome you, ma'am, and it's our pleasure to have you as a keynote speaker today. Please give a big round of applause.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a enriching introduction. We now start with the session of Dr. Mala Mohan ma'am on restoration of heritage structures, a case study. Let's welcome ma'am. Please give ma'am a big round of applause.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for adding that doctorate in front of my name. I'm not on my PhD, but I think with my varied experience of 40 years, I've completed 40 years in 2023. I think I can take that, degree from you all, and thank you very much for that. And good afternoon, my friends, my architect friends, my student architects. And this is just after lunch. I know you may be drowsy after having, your lunch. So bear with me for the next half an hour, and I'm sure you will get something out of it. This is something very different subject. I think because we have not done any heritage papers in the MES. For me also, this is the first time we are going to talk about it. But I had hands-on work on this case study, which I'm going to talk to you all also in the later slides. So here, this is the restoration of heritage buildings case study along with the integration of sustainability. And all of you all know that I'm having both of this, so let me see how it works. Thank you. So if you see this, sustainability is what is the terms which is used commonly these days. where you have to sustain yourself for everything, even living. You have to sustain. It has to be sustainable. Now let us start our today's program with the shloka of from the Atharva Veda. Mata Bhumihi Putrayan Apritya. So do not harm the environment. Do not harm the water and the flora. Earth is my mother, and I am her son. May the waters remain fresh and tranquility be the beam to the atmosphere, to the waters, to the crops and vegetation. This is from the Atharva Veda, Prithvi Sukta, Shloka number 12. So, friends, Atharva Veda has talked about the sustainability, about not depleting your natural resources. That is where we have stood. And the when you talk about sustainability, also along with this, let me go ahead. This is coexistence with nature has been an integral part of all our cultures. This is evident from all our various religions, cultural and traditional practices. You have all have seen the temples, the village houses, the Vedic architecture. In the history of architecture, also the first lesson is taught about is the Vedic architecture, and all of us know about Vedic architecture very well. And what is heritage? Heritage traditionally designed buildings for sustainable, that is, with all sustainability concerns for environmental conservation and demands for sustainable development. This internationally happened with the Stockholm Conference of 1992 and the UN Earth Summit of 1992, which is very new in origin, whereas when compared to our age-old cultural and traditional practices, where we knew about all this, somewhere we had forgotten. And let me tell you that considering the original climatic adaptations of the historic buildings, today's sustainable technology can complement the inherent sustainable features without compromising the unique historical कैरेक्टर बहुत हेवी तो नहीं हो गया आप लोग ऐसे स्टैर कर रहे हो ऐसे लग रहा है कि कुछ नया सब्जेक्ट है आर यू एबल टू comprehend what I am trying to tell? And the students, I'm asking the students, I will ask all questions, so yes, be attentive. And I have been also part-time teaching. I've gone into it, so I know how to ask questions mere bacche, so be careful on that. And texts such as the Arthashastra, the Brahmanas, the Upanishads, the Vedas, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, all talk of etc. replete with verses that talk of protecting the natural resources. कहाँ से हम sustainable थे? Besides this, from an archaeological point of view, the presence of highly advanced city planning, including the sewage system, the water harvesting, the water management techniques, and the planning of town planning can be seen in the Indus Valley civilization. So when you talk about the Indus Valley civilization, so we have been so progressive. And come to think of here, I have just mentioned about the marshipia in Arab architecture and the internal courtyards in the Roman architecture. This I have just put because it is not that we did not have. We also have the internal courtyards where if you see the typical Kerala architecture or even the Maharashtra architecture or in some parts of Tamil Nadu you have the internal courtyard system. Even in Rajasthan you have the internal courtyard system. Why? Because this was the buildings were adaptive to climatic conditions. So that was the major thing. And throughout the world, people followed the same type of architecture based on their adaptive, climatic conditions. So that was very important. And heritage architecture was one with sustainability. Do you all agree with that? Yes. So why? because interestingly the idea behind these sustainable buildings are not new and date back to the ancient times. Available natural resources were used efficiently. Indigenous materials specific to the locations were used in order to keep the houses warm or cold as per the climatic conditions. Sewage and water supply systems were built with natural materials in those days, whatever materials were available, and they were all local materials. I am stressing on the local materials. Why? We also get those local materials. They are the quarries also formed because of the climatic conditions of that place. Unfortunately, today all your buildings are, totally very different. We have gone beyond that, and I would say, the skills have gone. There's no architecture to it throughout the world. It's totally different. So, if you look at this, the temple here, and the ruins of the temples, or the bowlis or the wells. So rainwater harvesting was present in those days. And then passive cooling techniques. I think this has not come out properly on the slide, but that it shows very well. So this is the Badgis wind catchers. So if you see the Badgis wind catchers, आप Google करके भी देखेंगे, you will get the picture of that. Is making the because I have just put it there on that, so it has not come out well. I did not have the blessing of seeing on a big screen. Sorry for that. So many of the things I think I have copied and pasted. I hope I am able to show all of you. Otherwise, it is there on the slide. So we had all this. आपको पता है कि different types of buildings had come up, like the cob. A cob का क्या था? It was a mixture of water, subsoil, and fibrous materials such as straw. So these were all used, and the huts with thatched roof and cob walls, which was insulated. So good for warm houses in cold settings. फिर उसके बाद क्या हुआ? So these were the cogs on one side, where there were high snowfall, or in Iceland क्या हुआ? Iceland में ही तो पहले Eskimos ने अपना igloos बनाए. So they knew how could they insulate themselves. That is all forgotten, left behind, and we are on a different tangent. So next slide also I'll show you the same thing. This is again your jalokas and your jalis, which are very prevalent in the in Rajasthan, based on the climatic conditions. And the one on the right, this one, if you see, this is for a hot and humid climate like Kerala, where it rains quite often. You will find that none of the walls are facing direct sunlight. That is because they in those days itself they have huge verandas on all the sides excepting the north, and this is because they didn't wanted any infra and ultraviolet rays entering their house. Look at the science which has gone behind it. And the mangrove tiles on the top cools the house, cools the veranda. So the inner portion of the house is always very cool. And second thing, all the public meetings happen. If this is a house, typical house, and all the public meetings used to happen outside in the veranda. Your policies, even marriage fixation, everything, only a few people entered the house. So what happens? There is a restriction of all people entering the house. So your viruses, bacteria, everything is left at the doorstep. It doesn't go beyond that. So people were very careful about all that. Unfortunately, today हम तो चप्पल पहन के kitchen तक जाते हैं, forgetting that we have been our shoes or the chappals have been carrying all the bacteria of throughout the world and it's entering our house. So that level of cleanliness was there. And now, what is the next step? It's time for the sustainability to be one with heritage. If you see the redevelopment Bandra railway station, which has the laterite, main building is laterite with porches, Mangalore tiles, porches, and the fall down is of the this one is all of wood. They have retained all this. Why should we retain all old buildings? I will come to come to that later. But restoration, retaining and restoration of these have been done. Then the Taj Falaknama Hyderabad, this is now a hotel, but this was built some 100 years back, I think around 1870, 1894, and it took 10 years to complete. Was designed by a British architect, William Marriott, and this was the palace for one of the Nawabs. Later on, it was converted into a hotel. And if you see this, this had a classical Greek architecture. See, the architecture of those days also was going with all the, if you have even read about the architecture of years which in the past, they were all going through different phases. So this was built during that time when classical Greek architecture was in vogue, and the Udaipur had the same was restored in the same manner. And the CSE house in Calcutta, this also got its after restoration, it got its LEED Platinum in 2021. So we can still do all this even for the heritage buildings. Now, why restoration? Why should I restore any building? Do you know that which buildings are being restored? There are three kinds of heritage buildings: grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. And grade 1 buildings, it comprises of buildings of national and historic importance. Remain under the protection of ASI. And national importance with unique features. The building has unique features. Then prime landmarks of the city. It is the prime landmark of a city and needs to be kept under permanent state of preservation and protection. Grade 1. Grade 2, buildings of local importance possessing special architectural and historical value and local landmarks contributing to the image and identity of the city, of only the city. For examples, if you see in Saket, Malviya Nagar, you will see a lot of rooms which have been restored, under this Restoration Act. So these all come under grade 2. And grade 3 does not qualify for permanent retention, but the architectural historical importance because of its features. If you see, for example, it is the Kashmiri gate, the old Delhi जब आप जाओगे तो दरवाजा जो आता है, that is grade 3. I hope you all समझ में आ गया. Kashmiri gate के हम under the tunnel जाते हैं, that is the one. And why restoration? So हमारी 3 level grades में होता है restoration, and why restoration is historical value. It's a throwback that we have of the past. Then architectural importance with unique architectural and design ideas and styles. Then old buildings also boost business, increase your GDP of the country, tourism. Then cultural significance. But let me tell you, restoration is not a simple work. Lot of challenges happen, lot of mind-boggling games, because the buildings you don't know, उसका कोई आपके पास record नहीं होता है. You have to start, you don't know from where to start. Entering into the building itself is going to be very difficult because not maintained, not used. So what are the main problems when you envisage is the visual appearance. You have to keep that visual appearance intact. You can't change it. It has to be, all these features have to come and it has to be intact. Then structural evaluation. You should know the how strong it is or how it is, Uh, and the materials required for restoration, and because the quarries have all been gone, you have taken out all the materials from the quarry. Quarry is all gone in many places. Then availability of funds. Where do we get the funds? These are all government buildings. We have to get it from the government. How much will the government give? How much are you going to do it? So that is a major issue is also the availability of the funds. Then the purpose of the usage of these buildings. What is it reused for? So these are all the uh, challenges for the restoration, and the second thing is climate change and environmental degradation are among the biggest challenges of our times, and hence we have to be careful while restoring it. How do we restore it? Next is, how do we restore it? The primary goal of restoration is to bring the heritage building to its original condition and all the features intact. So it gives you get that original look of it, and preserve the building's historical and architectural significance. And adaptive reuse. When you are restoring the building, at that time itself it is decided for what it is going to be used for. So when you know that, accordingly you can do the restoration. आप लोगों को कई स्टूडेंट्स को नींद आ रही है, मैं देख रही हूँ, so I will go little fast because I thought let me go slow so that you understand, but काफी लोगों की आंख बंद हो रही है, ठीक है? So I will go little fast so that you people are attentive. And like standards for any things, for preservation also there are standards. And they are, what are the main standards which they have broadly said is historic character of the property should be retained. Then distinctive materials, features, finishes and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize a property should be preserved. So you cannot take out all these fringes or the detailing portion of it. They form the main style of the architecture of that era. So that has to be properly maintained, and wherever you can replace it, you replace, but 99% try to repair it so that you get that same texture and color and specifications. And existing condition of historic features should be evaluated. Treatments that cause damage should not be done. So it's very important. We have to right from the beginning we have to take care that such treatments we don't get into it where the whole building is damaged or some of the portion of it is damaged or the detailing portion is damaged. So then the whole effort of restoration goes for 6. Then historic features should be repaired and then replaced. I have already said that. Then another thing is new additions and adjacent or related new construction if you want to have. It should be taken in such a manner that if it is removed in future or if you dismantle it in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property is not disturbed. Are you all able to read this? Because it is looking light on this. Anyway, these are all the 8 points where how you go about the restoration. First is, most important is documentation. In the documentation, what is more important is your measured drawing of the building. Because all the heritage buildings which are more than 100 years, we don't have any drawings. Each detail has to be measured and drawn. So that itself documentation takes. Then besides that, what are the other points the building is suffering from or what are the diseased portion of the building? Is it the leakage, or is it the structural point of view? Has it, because of the rain and the temperature gradient, has there been a difference in the building movements, and so there has been breakage and cracks. So all these documentation has to be done with the pictures, and this is the first part of restoring any building. Then by the time all of you all know that for what it is going to be used, so adapting the use, and so you will be restoring accordingly. Then site sustainability and sustainable materials. So we capture the landscaping is also and site is formed a very important part of that. And site design that promotes biodiversity. So we have to know that and minimizes carbon footprint. So, and then restoration of architectural features. So, you go with a holistic approach for restoration and then come part by part to the minutest details. Then, very important is the structural integrity, how far the structure is on with this. So, then your renewable energy resources. Next in the restoration, because here we are also trying to say that since these buildings are, sustainable buildings, and they were built in that era when there was no electricity. They used oil lamps. So now let us have at least continue with that and have renewable energy resources like the solar panels, the turbines and all that. Then most important is the public education, engagement and education. Most important is we have to throw it to the public during the restoration, because the community which lives next to the building, the said building, they may know what has undergone, because that community has been living there for years together, their great grandfathers and all that, and many of these you will get even many of these skilled craftsmen there. So that has to be put across to the public. We can't do it, without them getting into it, because they also may give us ideas, flexible ideas. We will have to have 4 or 5 ideas before starting anything on restoration. And then comes the monitoring and the maintenance. Once it is done, you have to monitor it, and maintain it. So whoever takes it for adaptive reuse, so they will start doing it. And then I will come to the case study of the building. This is, if you see this one, this is the main university of Pune, main building. This is the main building. This was in 1871 when this was 76 when this was constructed, and this is the one after restoration. So this building is indexed as grade 1 building. I have already talked to you all about the grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. So this is a grade 1 building, and constructed in 1871 by the British architect James Swan. This is ground plus 1 structure, load bearing walls with 16,000 square feet area, and shallow foundation on black bottom soil. And the features, if you see broadly, they are the pitch roof. There is a pitch roof in between, because outer you are only seeing the pitch roof. Then jack arch you are seeing the jack arch slab, a typical wooden flooring inside, unforced rubble masonry. This rubble masonry is of basalt stone and the brick masonry in lime concrete. No cement was used in those days, and they were all. These were some of the features. Then This is Roman's revival exterior, awkwardly accommodating a Georgian interior. The building was built in that era when there was a confusion of these styles and lack of direction prevailed. So you will find that Georgian interiors and Romanesque revival exterior. Local stones. What were the local stones? Basalt stone. Then next was the quarry. And then in Indian fauna and a completely incongruous collection of furniture, paintings, and other works of art create a mixed jamboree inside the building. And the excellent craftsmanship in the local basalt gives the respect and dignity of the building, as you see. So this is the ground floor plan. If you see, these have porches all around them, and huge rooms, bathroom, dining area, and sitting room, all these places on the ground floor. And this is the site plan, and this is your main building. And they had an underground 400 feet long tunnel going to the kitchen. This one is the kitchen. Why? Because kitchen was away from it, because what they used for they used fire was wood, and because of the smoke which would come in, this was taken away from it and away from the building, from all the buildings, so that it is taken out in the different direction. It goes, the wind blows in the northeast direction, it goes out. So that is how they had planned. So this is the ground floor plan, and I will show you some of the. This is your first floor plan, 2 floors. The staircases, if you see, are all made of timber. They have balustrades also of timber, polished, and they are all in rolled teak wood and rolled steel joists, and with a filling of lime concrete. Then they had also some toilets, some of the toilets along with the bedrooms. These are the bedrooms, so double height. And this portion, during the restoration, they tried to put a RCC slab, but it failed and it became a mess. Okay, because this is again the structure is the foundation was on black cotton soil, so it could not withstand, and it became a mess. And this happened between 2003 to 2006 was the restoration happening. 2003 2004 I was posted in Pune, so I have a idea of all this. And then the roofing, you see how well this has been, measured and drawn. All there have been pitched roof, then there has been flat roof. Pitched roof is king post truss and the queen post truss, and flat roofs were originally brick walls with lime mortar and brick pads and waterproofing in cement mortar. And they have glass also over this, originally also, all these. And then there was a water tank also here, water tank here, which was ferro concrete water tank, which was also removed afterwards. So this was the existing roof plan. And some of the elements which are very, very prominent in this building are the balustrades, then gargoyles. Gargoyles, if you see, these are called the gargoyles. I am sure the teachers would know, but I am telling the students, gargoyles are all animal-faced ones. So this acts as also a drain. In those years, they had this is how they had used. And balustrades, stone balustrades, all in basalt stone. Then there was 100 feet high tower. This one, 100 feet high tower. Then arches, all on basalt. See, look at the construction, how well it has been done. And then, the lavish interiors, wood paneling, this is for the bathroom, and this is all gold leaf has been used on the ceilings. And today also it is, after maintaining it, look at the way it is showing. So they have not done anything on this because, and with polishing on the walls, and this was the library used by them. So wooden flooring and wooden paneling, and also the lavish use of gold leaf and expensive teakwood paneling. All this has been one of their elements, main elements I would say. And this one is a 100 feet tower, 100 feet high tower that has been built in those days. 100 feet high tower. तो कितने stories हुए?
10
Students, 100
stories.
feet high tower माने कितने stories हुए?
10 stories. Plus
So,
10.
so 9 stories it has gone and it is standing. It is a load bearing wall standing even tall now today. Let me, continue. Then the creation. Sorry, this is the one. And stages of restoration for the University of Pune was proper recording of prime buildings. This is how they went. SWOT analysis they did. Alternative available for proposed action through a combination of repairs, redesign and usage requirements were examined. Finalization of selected options to prepare a flexible and phased program of implementation. Always it is phased in restoration. Detailed proposals and tenders to finalize cost and the agencies for implementation. Then monitoring and supervision of implementation, and then during the time of design, you will also find new discoveries. So more flexible plans have to be in place. That also they kept recording and preparation of maintenance manuals and periodic evaluation. Then this is the proposed one. This for what it was used. It was used. It is being used for the vice chancellor, of the university, his staff, meeting rooms, conferences, all these places. And so this is. This is a meeting room or a convention room, conference hall. This is the vice chancellor's room, and then you have got the exhibits here. They have also have exhibition going on here, and you will find the port is here, the port is here, port is here. There are so many entries. There are multiple entries to this building. So this portion, what is being shown is the exhibition hall where people come and see all the archival and get out to it. So this is that part for it. And again, this is the part where people see the heritage things after restoration.
time pass. Good.
So again, these are all the float, that is the proposed ones, details. They have left all the double heights. These are the double heights. This is the one, and here it is again in glass. They have also almost glass. So this is again for the, they have gone up to the fourth floor, and again you have all the also, and there is a small lift also there in place, because if you have to go earlier, as per our you have to be disabled friendly. The building has to be disabled friendly, so they have also given a lift there. So this is the proposal. And roof, they have not changed much, but kept it to the same, because the truss was almost intact. Only termite infested areas had to be removed and put over the CGI sheet. The Mangalore tiles were placed. The flat slabs were okay. Only waterproofing was required in that cases. And yes, and this one is one of the courtyards where you can see the marble, white and black marble used in those in that era, which is still working on, and once they have polished it, it is going on fine. So look at this elevation. Look at this elevation of how which they have prepared for restoration. Detail. If you look into it, each stone has been drawn. The length and the width of the stone, that is, the stretcher and header, it is on the stretcher and the header post. And this has been drawn. Why this has been drawn to such an extent is because if you see this also, there are good points from architectural. They have also written that, and what are the bad effects of it. See, good architecture is some of the stones, some of the arches are fine. Some places the building is all fine, but some places the creepers have grown in. There have been leakage seepages, and so the stone has expanded. There has been cracks. So all this is given in the same is written on this, and if you see because this I have not written it on my own, I had to capture it and put it, so that is how it has come live. But if you go near it, you can read it. People can take out that and read it, and you will understand much better. And even the mast, all the four sides, it had steel jalis. They have also been removed and redone again and put back. So yeah, effort has gone into it. It is not a single man's effort. It is a total teamwork. Gone with the structure, architects, engineers. Then the heritage people, then ASI people. All of them put together. You require that. Even small detailing like this. Look at this. Small detailing has been shown in the measured drawing. So what should be the height? The main, if this is done rightly, everything else is. So if you see the audit and identification of main issues in this building was the cracks in elevation stone due to the temperature changes. I already said and leakage also happening. Then corroded beams and falling floor slabs and collapsed columns also. The arches columns they also collapsed. Why? This is because it was infested by bats, rats, termites, cats, and weather conditions. So nothing, no care to the building. This building was handed over. This university building was actually a residence for the monsoon residence of the presidency of Bombay in the 18th century. And this was handed over in 1949 to the University of Pune. 2-3 years after independence, even after the British have left, it was left open like that. So the building deteriorated very badly. So you can see the rotten wooden roof due to heavy rain. Then the porches, I said the porches. This is one of the eastern wing porch where you can see the array of basalt stones laid the way it was put on that. And from there they will take out whatever stone has to be repaired will be repaired and put in place, otherwise it has to be replaced. And friends, the good part of this is there was a basalt quarry next to it, and it had the quarry in it, and they were able to cut the stones from that. And these same skilled craftsmen from descendants of the person who had built this were all staying there, and so the same skilled work they got, so it was beneficial to them. So that is why that public education is very important for restoration. So that was one of the main takeaways from this restoration of these buildings. And sequence, yes, this is, there's one slide, before that. So the repairing of stonework and roofing. See, look at this. This is the truss and bamboo tiles put, and these are the pallets adding to it, and then stones dismantled from the southeastern port and laid in arrays. Then the jacquard is being maintained. So all these things. So it is being done, and then the sequence of restoration construction was, how did they go about it? Exploratory works. That is, doing architectural survey, material analysis, and archival research to understand the building's original design and construction techniques. This is very important. Then, stabilizing the structural elements, repairing foundations, or addressing the water infiltration. And then immediate repair works, that is under urgent repair works, you have got the stabilizing the structural elements. Then you have got the immediate repair works. Immediate repair work is you have to fix the leakages and the seepages, then the any broken windows or damaged windows, and any safety concerns for the building so that the people can enter the building. Then necessary one is to preserve the building's character and historic features. Then comes the necessary ones, and beyond that is the desirable repair works. That is what I said, from the holistic to the smallest part of it. So that is how they go into it. Restoring the decorative features, recreating missing artificial element, or revitalizing interior spaces to their original splendor. So this is how the sequence happens. And after restoration, you have to revive the building for the adaptive use. So you need funds even for that. So what is that? That is the components important for revival is after construction is building conservation and interior work. So they subdivide, due to the conservation of this, that is, they subdivide it into structural repairs, drainage and seepage, leaks, roofs, in the roofs and in the toilet, then close down the redundant toilets and add more toilets wherever required, and repairing of masonry works and roof works and finishes. In this they do. Then you require money for it, because see, now they have come to such a junction where now you require all repairing work, and you can start using the building. Then sanitation and plumbing, so water tanks have to be put, plumbing wherever required you have to add it, and wherever not required, please, wherever it is redundant it is removed, or sometimes it is not found, just kept. Then electrical, and as I told you all, electricity came into being only in 1920. This building is in 1876. So they had oil lamps when this building was built. But fortunately, 1940 they had already made the British people already had made an electrical layout plan, which in the archives they found it, and all the working lines were retained, and some of them were repaired or replaced, and to match with the modern requirements of the building. Then solar panels, then they also, they wanted to refurbish with solar panels and turbines so that it becomes energy efficient, the building becomes energy efficient. And here, in those days, you will find in this building also a lot of, fireplaces. But Pune did not wanted fireplaces, because they were used to fireplaces. They had the fireplaces, but Pune was not so cold to have fireplaces. So they also became very redundant. And then what happened was the climate of Pune has changed considerably. In the early turn of the century, if you see, the climate of Pune had not gone beyond the maximum temperature was only 32 to 33 degrees. Maximum has been 34, because I was in Pune at that time, and there was no air conditioning in any of the houses, fans, only fans. But now, if you go, it has crossed beyond 40, and every house has air condition. But here still, because of the way it is constructed, no AC is required. Even today, you can have a comfortable, environment inside the building, 24 to 28. Between that, you can have the environment. And if they want tomorrow, they have not said anything on this. They have not done anything on this, but I am sure because Pune is one place where they are going for zero net buildings. Many of the places, all of you all know that many of the buildings are zero net. When you also see in Google and see, so here also they can have passive techniques for cooling. And then the pest control. It was already, since it was infested, termite was on the top, and they had to do a lot of pest control to control all these, pesticides, the termite or the rats, and even the bees. There were, because of the thick vegetation, there were a lot of bees around, so all these had to be done. So extra money required. Why I'm talking to you all is, this is based on the, billing. This is now on the billing I'm talking about, because people require money for this, and how they are going to do it, who is going to do it, so that they will depend on the policies or whoever is going to take up. But this is the extra money which is required, which has to be done to uh, have a building where you can work on. Fire protection systems. In those era, there were no fire protection systems, but now fire protection systems are in place as per the norms. Then lightning arresters. Why lightning arresters? Because of the tall tower which is 100 feet high. They still date, there has not been any lightning on this. But however, because of the tall trees surrounding it, and this building is inside 411 acres of land which has thick vegetation and other buildings also. So tall trees have grown beside it. So they have to have lightning arresters that was added to it. Signages formed one of the important part along with that. A huge building, there are so many entries to this. So I have not talked about the site because that is again a huge site. Again, that is another chapter by itself. So they had to have the signages. And communication system. Earlier, because this being a residence, they had no communication system. But fortunately, cordless, no wiring was required. So they have got into it, and I'm very happy with it. Then landscape, of course, the landscaping. The earlier times, during the British presidency, when the governor was staying there, it was British colonial landscape which was not maintained and it was off. So new landscaping for adding aesthetic value to the building has been created. And then if you see, I forgot about the housekeeping and the security also. That is one of the important. If you see, I have shown you all many entries. So, and plus, these are exhibition rooms also. So the public is also coming. So they had to put metal detectors, cameras, all that wiring had to be done. They are all almost exposed because of the basalt stone, you can't take it in. And most of the wiring, whatever they have done is almost on the floor. And the housekeeping, upkeep of the building is very important because most of them is wooden paneling, the staircases, all this is wooden and marble. So you have to upkeep that also. And yes, conservative. They have also added a conservation laboratory where a center for collection of all restoration data and materials, teaching future generation of restoration practices in the community. And now, I don't know whether they have published or not. There is a publication going on. If some of you all have read it, whether this whole thing has been published as a case study. Has anyone seen it? I have not seen it, but there is a idea on that, and people are saying, some of them are even saying that it is public, but I have no idea on that because I left Pune quite long back, and when I was there, this was happening. So that is how I know many of the things happening. And so, see, this is the last slide, and You look at this, I added some of the pictures here. Look at the way the measured drawing has been done. See the detailed portion of it. Look at the section, the way they have done it and they have written on that. Beautifully. So what does it finally say? That is, the construction work is costlier than any other conventional construction project because of the technique and the difficulties involved. The restoration construction cost may be high. Material procurement is also again major problem. Sometimes quarries are all gone, so how do you get it? And mostly repairing is the best option, but at times you have to replace it. And most important is why are we restoring these buildings is bringing down the carbon footprint, and also it adds value to and cultural value to your country, which we are proud of. You know, we have lot of heritage buildings, and we have to learn from the heritage buildings to be climate adaptive, go in for sustainable materials, skilled craftsmanship, because now architecture means we have almost all gone, adopted the Western style of architecture. That is not our architecture. Today, buildings, if you go to a building, if you see a building, you should know what it is for, it stands for, whether it's a university, residential, or office, or a mall, or today, every building almost looks alike. This I have also seen in the latest, seminars people have been talking about. You don't know whether it's a mall or an office building. So the architectural style should stand out it should speak for itself, the building it is used for. So that is very important, and I hope the future generation will follow this, because somewhere we got lost into the Western adoption of materials and architecture. The Western is using that because they are climate adaptive. It is not meant for our country. So we have to go in according to our rich cultural, architectural, heritage, take points from it and add to it as per the modern, post-modern architecture. So with this, I sign off. Thank you for your patience here. And I hope you get something from this. Thank you once again. Yeah. Oh, yes, I can answer. Yes, tell me. Yeah. This is what I have been for 34 years in government, and I have been breaking my head for such type of things. But fortunately, what we had in our UC was we had put the technical instructions in place, the policies in place. I was The one who did all this in the architecture department, how it should go about and what should be done for seepages, leakages. And tell me one thing, the old buildings there was no seepage. Where have we gone wrong? We have gone wrong. I don't want to comment why, because the government buildings is looked after by the government contractors. There are contractors. They are hand in glove with the executive engineers, and besides, beyond that, you can understand. Every building, every building, every building. That's exactly what I have not said. You have openly said. I just said that.
Question developed for the answer. What went back wrong? I have been research on this code. What went wrong was that stop referring to CIS guidelines in the year 1950, that is post completion. So I'm fighting with CIS.
But tell me one thing, BAS also is very slow, because as government architects we had to be part of the BAS, we had to attend the meetings, and we had to give our suggestions, we had to work on that for every policies for the BAS. Architecture we used to do it, structural we had structural people, electrical we had all these people to be. Okay, but somewhere or the other it is going very slow. Even the NBC norms, I think even the NBC norms, it took years to come, but still, if you see in that, if you see in the NBC norms, you will find that, even in the architecture portion of it, you are also an architect, you are an engineer. Now let me tell you, architecture portion of it, if you see, they have said that this much, if it is 500 square feet house, it will be done by an engineer. Beyond that, it will be done by an architect. Why? All these things, and architects do not get that prominence in the government area, because you are pressed down by the engineers. You have to really work very hard if you have to stand shoulder to shoulder with an engineer. And I was able to do it because I was Additional Director General for 4 years, which is a very long period. I was the first ADG of the MES. Before that, I was the Joint DG, and for 10 years, I was the head Pan India for the architecture, and that is the amount of work I have done. My buildings, they speak, that is something different, but something beyond that, where you have to put the policies in place, who will look after that, what is it, because the engineers used to bypass this.
Basically, they are executing agencies.
They are executive agencies, and we had to put our foot down. Unfortunately, one more thing, because I'm also in the council, and I always used to put my foot down. And I had to put my foot down. Sorry, what was I saying?
So they are the executing agencies for the commercial concept.
Yes, concept, and even in the council, what I am trying to tell is, unfortunately, our architects do not have the communication skills. Most important is a subject of communication skills, and HR resources has to be taught to our students if they have to stand in front of the engineers who are good at that. So this is very important.
Thank you, ma'am. It was truly a very informative session. Please give ma'am a big round of applause. We have with us Dr. Manoji Samanta sir, Principal Scientist at CSIR. I will request our Head of Department, Architect Madhuri Agarwal ma'am, to kindly welcome sir. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. We now begin with our final session of the day by Dr. Manojit Samanta, sir, Principal Scientist at CSIR, on foundation feature investigations, design of heritage structures, case studies. Let's welcome sir on stage. Please give sir a big round of applause.
So, very good evening to you all. I really thankful to the organizer for giving me a chance to speak in front of you and share my experience with the heritage structure. I also acknowledge and thankful to the organizer for being a very kind and gracious host and welcoming me very warm-heartedly in this beautiful engineering campus. So, as I was looking to your schedules and lectures, basically, for a building, it has two components. Basically, one is called the superstructure that we see below top of the ground, and one is called the substructure or foundation system that we see. That is basically we don't see, we see only during the construction. That is called the foundation system or substructure. So my work on the heritage structure is basically basically on the substructure, how to design it, and if you have heritage structure, old heritage structure, how to investigate the function features of it. So this topic will so the top of my presentation will be on the case studies, three case studies basically. One is on the foundation feature investigation of a old heritage structure. Second one that is situated in the Konark in Odisha. Second one is on the Tungnath temple. So basically its foundation was settled due to the seepage problem. How we have solved it or rectified it, what are the solution measures we have given. Third one is basically the foundation design features of Sri Ram temple that is being constructed in the Ayodhya. So this is my presentations. First, I will talk about few of the what is the problem with the heritage structures. Then the three case studies that I have talked, that foundation features of Sun Temple at Konark. Problem, the Tungnath temple that is in the Uttarakhand, Rudrabag district of Uttarakhand, very tourist spot. And then the foundation design of the Sri Ram temple that is being constructed at Ayodhya. So if we talk about the foundation design or foundations of a heritage structure, basically we see the top of it that is called the superstructure, and the things that we don't see is called the foundation, that is called the substructure of the or foundation of the structure. Now, if we see the difficulties with dealing with the foundation of the heritage structure is that it's built or it is built over 1,000 years ago, maybe 5,000 years ago, maybe 500 years ago, and we don't know actually basically what is the geometric dimension of it. So as of today, if someone asks me that please have a stability analysis of any of the structure, let's say Taj Mahal, Qutub Minar, Sun Temple, Konark, it's really challenging because I don't know what supporting it. Okay. Now, also you don't know basically at that time the documentation of the soil that is supporting the structure, let's say this structure, it's not that much. We don't know what kind of soil is beneath the structure supporting it and inaccessibility. So basically we don't as a people or engineer don't have that much of easy access to the structure. Also, when it has been built, the soil and foundation have been graded due to the interaction with the surrounding environments due to the water. So it has been degraded. We don't know the present state of the material that has been used in the foundation. That's why structural assessment of the foundation is very challenging task. Now, with this challenge, also give you the scope of the work for researcher, for engineers. It gives the scope of the work for us, for to further work on, to further enhance our boundaries, to work on this problem, to solve this problem. So, few of my few of the case studies will cover how we have faced these challenges when we are asked to do it, how we have faced these challenges, and how we have solved it. The first is so before going to the case studies, I will just give you an example or give an introductory part that when we talk about the investigation foundation design, we basically talk about the investigations. Now, investigations means usually know is that it's the destructive investigations. We all know that is we do the borehole boring, take the soil sample in the laboratory and test it in the laboratory to get the parameter for the new construction. But what is the problem with it is that it is basically point specific. Okay, we don't know. What we do is that discrete point, we choose the discrete point according to the IS code, and we don't know that what is in between. We basically interpolate it in between. Now, there may be a possibility that there may be a foreign object within the material. So we may miss it. And if we build the structure over it, in some days it can the voids or foreign object can interact with the structure and the structural performance may go down. For that, what we need to do is that we have the non-destructive testing. In non-destructive testing, we use it does not take the samples out of the soil. It usually uses the properties of the soil, that is seismic properties, electrical resistivity properties, magnetic properties, or gravity properties, to map a wider area in continuous mode to give you the subsurface features in terms of cavity, in terms of foreign object, so that as an engineer, as an architect, you are better prepared with your design. So let's say let's say this is diagram. We have to build some structure over here, and we have some cavities, grid object, electrical cables within it. So if you do let's say we are doing a borehole investigation here or borehole investigation here, we will miss these cavities. And if we build a structure over here, in some days or in some years, these cavities and grid object will be interacting with the structure and thereby your structural performance will go down. This is the problem. You may be lucky when if some of the both may both will cut it, then you may be lucky. But if you are not so lucky, you will miss this and a huge amount of your cost will be drained out. So few of these non-destructive methods give you better results to identify this kind of foreign or buried object within the media. Now, in the first case studies, and it is always advisable to put together these two methods together because it has certain advantages and disadvantages. So if you put together two methods together, that is destructive based and non-destructive based together, we will have the both advantage of the both the methods, and we will eliminate that is the advantage of both the methods. So that will be a better win-win situation.